Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lock Pod, your favorite podcast.
Season 5, episode 10. We're in double digits.
We made it, by the way.
Double digits.
Snowmageddon.
Well, Lindsay almost didn't. We just found out.
Yeah, Lindsay barely made it.
Why?
I got here with enough time to make your coffees, and
she beat me.
Well, that's not hard to do.
He walked in at 7:30.
I always make
exactly
it in time. That's all that matters.
7:30.
That's all that matters is you make it on time.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Let's talk about this, Lindsay. What happened?
I wake up early in the morning, do my thing. I get out to my car and I turn it on, and it's been 2 days of snow days, so I've been stuck at home.
When's the last time the car was started?
A couple days ago. My husband, Brian, he went out yesterday because he knew I was leaving this morning to brush off my car and scrape it a bit, but the ice was very persistent, and that was the issue today as well.
If you run the car long enough, it takes care of itself.
What? So here's my...
He didn't start the car yesterday?
No, he did not.
Brian.
I didn't know this was a thing that you had to do.
I mean, he's only been a husband for a year.
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe he's learning these things.
Let's be
gentle
easy
with
on
him.
Yeah, like
All right,
he's never had a wife before.
And he's never had a wife during Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I let my wife park in the garage, so I don't have to
Wow.
deal with this.
See, we've got this weird house where we have a 3-car driveway, a 2-car garage, but a 1.5-car door, and it's like really
So
hard
Brian's
to get a
car's
second
inside.
car.
Lindsay's on the street.
That's
It
what I'm
was just
hearing.
an agreement that we made. I don't
Brian
wanna
did park inside?
He is in the garage. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, he goes to
Brian.
work every day. I have school like every other day almost.
Tom
so.
said,
Nonetheless, you're the wife.
Uh-oh.
So?
Like
Not that we're- not that
I'm
we're-
not like a dainty little flower that can't.
Well, that's
like,
true.
You didn't
function.
almost
I was,
make it to the podcast this
You're the-
morning.
I
so like,
I was able to fix it on my own.
You're the
today.
notorious LMP.
The ice along the door was preventing it from being latched, and I kept slamming it. My neighbors were like looking at me because I'm like
They were
slamming
saying
the
like,
door
why isn't your
multiple
husband doing this,
oh,
Lindsay?
no.
But I was able to get a scraper and kind of.
Did it start?
It did start.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no issue with that. It was just the ice was so.
Tom just looks incredulous.
yeah, you should. I think you should park in the garage because you're the wife.
Why?
Because that's what men do.
Why?
So that you're not late for podcasts and like you don't have to scrape your own stuff. Like I deal with that myself every day. I like start my car and then I get out there and I scrape it off. That's just my burden as a man. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds
When I was
sexist.
born with the male chromosome, I was destined to a life of cleaning off my car.
Yeah.
And the kids and your wife.
And doing the nice thing and letting your wife park in
That's
the
right.
garage.
I knew when I was born, you know, with male genitalia, I knew that I was in for a life of scraping the windshield
I didn't
and
know this
like
was a
parking
genitalia
outside.
thing.
It is.
Well, no, we had a discussion about it, and I offered to park my car outside when we bought
Nice
the
of you.
house because I also feel a duty to protect my husband.
He should have said except in Snowmageddon.
That was nice.
Except during Snowmageddon.
No, it's fine.
All right.
right, I'm
Well,
gonna
we're
talk
glad
He
you
was
made it.
he was kind enough to brush off my car yesterday.
Thank you, Brian.
He's been shoveling for days and days and days, so
Shoveling.
nice.
I gave you guys a snowblower.
it's
Oh.
broken.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You gave him a
my-
broken
I did
snowblower?
not give him a broken
So
It
now
was-
Brian
Here you
broke the
go.
snowblower.
No, we got it. We tested it out in June, and it worked.
It does work.
And
There's-
then
it's operator error.
It worked in June in 80-degree
Operator
weather.
my father-in-law came over to help us get it started, and it like the pulley thing
Operator
is just not attached to anything. It's just loose. So
Look at Tom's face. He's just
The
like,
more
what
we
is going
dig
on
into
over
It
here?
worked fine when I brought it over.
yeah, and it worked fine during the summer, but suddenly it's just not working.
As they were snowblowing in June. It was
Yeah.
great.
It was
No.
just a test to see
I
if
was
it
like,
worked or not.
Here, I don't want to see you guys like with icy. I walked up their house the other day, I almost killed myself. 'Cause it was like, and I'm like, damn, I gave him a snowblower for this exact purpose.
Hey, we would have shoveled for you if you gave us a heads up you were stopping by.
I know. Sometimes people swing by.
That's right. All right.
So anyway, that's nice. Yeah, we had a foot of snow drop in Hammond
That was exciting.
on 300 miles of streets,
Yeah.
not counting alleys. And of course, yesterday was the day where we just got dozens
Slammed
of
with
complaints.
phone calls.
Yeah, people calling us lazy, people saying that we suck, people saying it. And then, you know, it's hard to... It started snowing Tuesday in earnest,
About midnight.
midnight.
Yeah, 11 right
That's
into Wednesday,
when
right?
that's when all of our guys went to work.
That's when the rain turned to snow and ice.
Public Works, you know, sanitary district, water department, like we were using all trucks we had. They all started working at midnight on Wednesday a.m., midnight. And they worked until Thursday after work. We let them go. 36-hour shift. A full call out, like throwing salt, spraying the streets. I mean, doing everything we could to keep up with a foot of snow on 300 miles of streets.
Yeah, I know a couple of these guys, and they literally like said their break was they stopped by the house. Their wife brought out like a sandwich or something for them to eat in the car. They took like a 5-minute break and went back.
We give them a little bit of sleep time too,
if they need it. Sure,
we have to. Right,
absolutely.
We can't have them crashing
No.
big trucks. So, but like the thing is, I always try to remind people, and it wasn't as bad this year as it was in previous years, but people just love to call up and complain. And
yeah, it's interesting to me. It's like, you know what? I mean, obviously the city's working hard. They're not out there, sleeping in. And
we have every
yet,
truck going.
yeah,
we have salt. We're doing everything we could. And then they're like, I was just in Highland, and their roads are clean. And Hammond, and I'm like, Highland probably has 50 miles of roads, okay, and Hammond has 300. It's hard to compare a small town to a city like Hammond,
largest city in Lake County, and
right?
And by the way, I kind of am I have a side street. I'm in a side street, and I just assume they're going to get to it within 36 hours,
right?
Which is usually what it takes. It takes a day, and on a big snow, they get to it.
Right.
They get to it. It happened. They plowed it, and thank you.
It's just, I know that people hate snow. I hate snow too.
Everybody does.
But like, we live in Chicago, and
tough
it's February,
it's tough
and we
to
had a
get around.
blizzard. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was considered a blizzard or not, but it was a good storm.
Heavy snow.
Yeah, it wasn't really blowing. It wasn't
No.
really, there wasn't any like whiteout conditions or anything.
Agreed.
But like, it was a heavy snow. It was probably one of the heaviest
treacherous-
snows. It was the
treacherous
heaviest snow
travel.
this year so far.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the heaviest.
And then, obviously I know Indianapolis got it. It was weird. I was on a conference call Tuesday with a bunch of people from Pike Township in Indianapolis. And they said at that point, they still hadn't even had a drop of snow. And no, that was Wednesday. Excuse me. That was Wednesday.
On Wednesday, okay.
On Wednesday. And we had already been slammed with a foot of snow. And I'm like, wow. And they were going to get it yesterday, though. So I haven't talked to anybody from Indy recently, but I know they were supposed to get it yesterday.
Well, when we were down there on Tuesday, I think the temperature was 58.
Right.
And then it
beautiful.
just dropped.
Right.
Yeah.
It's freezing out now.
I saw one of these guys. His name's escaping me, but he was on a 4-wheeler with a plow yesterday. And
Wow.
doing the more detailed work, and
But-
I was like, man, you got to go easy on these guys, because
Yeah.
they're out there. I mean, he was just exposed on a 4-wheeler, like
It's
plowing.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard doing what they do, and just it's really hard. Like my office staff gets beat up on days like that, and there's a lot of complaints like, oh, you guys aren't throwing salt. And it's like, get out of here. Like seriously,
It's not an easy job, and obviously they try to do their best. And,
But I just drove around the city before I got in here. It looks pretty good right now.
yep.
I mean,
and the other thing, don't forget, is the state is responsible for
Calumet.
Avenue and part of
Right.
Indianapolis Boulevard.
Right.
So
And that's frustrating because it's still not in great shape,
No.
but it is what it is. And people, of course, just assume it's us.
And then I'm not blaming the state. I'm just saying that's the facts.
It's a big state.
Yes, it is.
A foot of snow. I mean, there's got to be patience. We don't have heated streets. I mean, if we did, it would be great. I could do the master switch in City Hall and flip the switch
That'd be
and
nice.
automatically melt all the streets. That would be wonderful. I
Like
imagine
if
that
that
would
Christmas
cost a
tree
couple.
light switch actually heated the streets.
Click, and everything just starts melting.
Melting.
That would be so much easier.
Love that.
We should check that out.
ARP money.
Let's check that out.
Use your ARP money for
Yeah.
heated streets.
Oh, that's great. April Fool's one right there.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Heated
yeah.
streets. Actually,
Street.
there was a situation in Hammond when I first became mayor with one of the councilmen that wanted to do heated sidewalks in his district.
What?
Yeah, and we pushed back and saying no way. And the interesting thing is, I just heard something on the news. I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, about a community in the Chicagoland area that has heated sidewalks.
Come on.
and it's not working.
I was just gonna. I figured I was gonna ask.
They said it worked for a year or two.
That's what I would be
and
afraid
then, like
of.
the wires that are underneath the sidewalks,
Because
like,
it settles. Cement
Right.
settles,
and it like breaks the wire,
Yeah.
and then you can't. So you have to like chip it out and
it
put
just
new
sounds like
wiring
one of
in.
those things that are disastrous over time.
I mean,
the roots go
it's not,
through the
like
sidewalks.
you see stuff
they
like
bump
that
it
when
up.
you're in like
Right.
Aspen or like someplace like that where there's like a shopping center, and then but like you don't see that on roads or
No.
heavy.
Not in public areas. You might see in a private drive or something.
But it's really dangerous, slipping. Yesterday, like seeing people in like Hyundais driving around into like a heavy snow, getting stuck. Like they would like,
big surprise.
it's like, what are you doing?
Or on the highway. I saw
at-
people on the highway. I'm like, what are you doing?
and just
on
like a
the
little
highway?
car, right?
Tin cans, man.
I
yeah.
mean, like you got trucks coming through. I mean, like you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me more people don't get.
So I had nobody work
in
Wednesday.
these
We did remote work Wednesday in City Hall. I went to work. Obviously, there was a few people going to work, but for the most part, everybody took snow day on Wednesday, and I felt like that was my responsibility as mayor to because when I have people coming to City Hall, we open to the public, and then public comes to City Hall, and then you got a bunch of traffic for no reason. So by shutting down, it's like what the schools do. When you shut the schools down, when you shut the city down, it reduces a lot of traffic.
Absolutely.
Which is good for
The
public
crews.
works because they're out there trying to clear the streets. So I did my part, but we did go back to work yesterday. Almost everybody was there. I mean, nobody really had trouble. Yesterday was not super easy getting to work, but it was possible.
Yeah, it was
even in a
slushy.
small car.
I drove-
John, you have a small car. You got in all right, right?
Yeah.
I drove to and from O'Hare yesterday.
Wow.
It was
Whoa.
clear as daylight. It was like pavement.
Really?
All
Why,
the way.
everybody's at home, right?
Yeah, so it was pavement and got up there, got back.
Nice.
Yeah.
That could have been a long
I
trip.
know, I agree. I could have been crazy, but
Hey, why don't we do
Also-
ads and then we could start with the first story, if that's cool?
Yeah,
it seems
sure,
like
let's do
we
it.
should break first. And
all
then-
right.
You want to start us off, Kev?
Sure. Our season 5 is powered by our premier sponsor, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, call Powering America to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle chargers and solar-powered solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of Powering America. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org.
Pow.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard. Oro. Standard.
Standardo.
Standardo
d'oro.
Standardo of the Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest.
Eileen's cringing.
Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
I think we need more of these little bits, little sound, little music things.
Yeah.
for
That's
our
my favorite
ads.
song.
Eli.
Like, can you imagine the
I know every
Michelob
word.
one? Like 2.6 carbs.
Well,
Like maybe a country. Maybe it's a country theme.
Or the
For Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
Michelob theme. There's an old
there a Michelob
70,
theme?
yeah, from the 70s when
Oh,
they used
yeah.
to do those. Remember
What is
that? Something- oh man,
Oh my goodness.
I
Can
remember
find
it.
Can I
This
play
is
it
the
on
real
here?
Yes, if you
Real
can find the
Genius.
old, if you can find the old Michelob ad, let's get ready for that because it's coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tri Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider.
And
Tri
you want to be
Electronics,
my complete communications
end to
provider.
end. John, Tri Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. They're dedicated to assisting their clients with their systems integration needs. Tri Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Tri Electronics today at 800-722-6793.
Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and an outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event, like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. We are conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu.
Thank you. Misprint. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing and metal business cards on time and within budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom commercial on-demand printing and sign solutions you can count on. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. Misprint has 2 convenient locations in Munster and in Hammond. Misprint.
All right, thanks to our sponsors.
Thank you.
We had a interesting and not unexpected development yesterday in my race for U.S. Senate. We notified everybody on Tuesday how happy we were that we were about to drive down on Tuesday after the show to beat Snowmageddon and to file for U.S. Senate. I had all the 4,500 plus, actually
Wow.
over 5,000 certified signatures. And thank you, by the way. They're still coming to my house. Like, I'm literally getting dozens of signatures every day.
FedEx
like,
packages.
FedEx to my house. And
Thank you.
we already turned in our signatures, guys.
Yep.
You know,
Today
so
at
Hey, what's
today
a
at
few
noon.
more?
well,
That's right.
yeah, I mean, it's nice, and we're going to use them for
Yeah.
purposes of tagging, so that
Contacting,
we can, right, so we can
so we
contact them
appreciate
during
it.
the campaign. We do, so that's the reason we're taking them now. But the signature phase is done, so please, you don't need to send them to my house anymore.
At least not by FedEx. We'll take them, but
Right. So anyway, so we filed on Tuesday. We beat Snowmageddon. We got back Tuesday night. So Monday I had a down and back to Fort Wayne, and I did that. Tuesday we did a down and back to Indianapolis. Wednesday,
beat Snowmageddon.
Wednesday,
That's-
Thursday I was
Yeah.
in City Hall working. So, but yeah, we filed my candidacy. We did it live on Facebook. We had a couple thousand views, which is nice. one of the problems with what we did, because we had a big press conference planned for Wednesday.
Yep.
Like it was going to be a big celebration. There was going to be a press corps there. When I filed, I was going to come out and there was going to be a press conference. And then because of the snow plans, we had to change like last second. And we didn't want to take a chance on.
Still got a reporter.
Yeah, we had a reporter. It was nice.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And some
nonetheless.
good follow-up, too, by the way. Got contacted by other media outlets.
Oh, good. Yeah. But so we didn't have the big splash that we intended to make. It was really me. There were some people from the party there. Vesmar was there filming. Kevin was there, of course, and myself. It was a small little, celebration, but we did file, and then we literally jumped back in the car and drove home.
Yeah, and thanks to, obviously, Matt Kochever
Yeah.
and Angie Nussmeyer from the election division. They came over and accepted it and brought it back to the election division, which
That was
cool.
nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And State House was kind of bustling. There was a Kids' Day or something.
It was Kids' Day,
Kind
yeah.
of fun.
But it was also weird that, like, everybody's getting ready for the big snow. You could tell.
Legislators were gone.
Legislators already went home. So, like, it wasn't the big splash that we intended, and we knew by changing the date that it was going to make it smaller and less of a press impact, which is unfortunate, but it was more important that I get filed
And get home
so that we didn't get stuck in Indianapolis.
I like this picture of you.
Thanks. I got a little static because I had my neck gaiter on.
You look like
Static?
you're posing for a yearbook or something.
Really?
It's adorable.
Oh, thanks, baby. That's so
Aw,
sweet. My daughter
nice.
loves me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why static?
Because I had my neck gaiter on. It looks dumb, supposedly.
Looks dumb. I mean, it's good for you. I mean, it's easy
It's
to pull
reminding
up.
people that I'm sensitive to the COVID issue.
It's reminding people
Yeah.
I'm
Hey, Tom, why wasn't your
a
mask on, man?
Democrat.
Because I took it down, by
I
the
know,
way,
I
to take
know.
the picture.
Of course.
And then I put it right back up because
Yep.
I'm a good citizen.
Yeah, I think it was fun. I know Matt Kochever was really excited because he is from Lake County,
Right.
originally, and so he
And
was
he
real
works in the
excited.
election
division. He was
Oh, wow.
excited to sign and notarize.
He was my
your-
first donation to my Senate campaign.
Isn't
He
that
wrote
cool?
me a check in
Wow.
French Lick for like $200.
Yeah, wasn't that
It
nice of him? Very
Yeah.
nice of
Yeah.
Matt.
So
So,
Matt's
Thank you, Matthew.
So anyway, we filed and we went public with it, and we got a splash, like social media splash, which is nice. And then we started talking about my opponents, and one of them had already filed, Dr. Valerie McRae. And I'm not throwing stones; I'm just being factual. Okay, she didn't have the signatures,
No,
And-
she had, I want to say, under 2,000.
which sort of shocked me. I was like, "How are you even allowed to file if you don't have the signatures?" That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But you explained in the last show that anybody could file,
Yeah.
right?
You can file and say, hey, I'm filing.
Somebody
And then-
from Pennsylvania could fly to Indiana and
Sure.
file,
I'm gonna
right?
run for U.S. Senate.
In Indiana,
Yeah, even though they don't qualify.
right? And then it would be up to a candidate or somebody to challenge that candidate and say you are improperly filed. Right?
Yeah, I think any voter in Indiana can challenge, and then that challenge would be heard. If I'm not mistaken, the election commission votes on challenges or hears challenges on the 18th of February.
Okay, so Dr. Valerie filed, and she doesn't have the signatures.
Yep.
She wasn't really even close, being honest.
Right.
We were tracking all of our opponents, including Todd Young and his primary, and I still don't know what
Don't
happened
know.
with that.
Yeah, we'll find
But
out
we were
today.
tracking everybody pretty closely. We knew where everybody was. We knew where we were. We knew we had it, and we were pretty sure that Dr. V had no chance at all to get the signatures. She was too far down. There was no way she was going to get it by the deadline. And we knew that Hanifa, another one of my challengers, Hanifa was also down in key parts of the state. She did better than Dr. Valerie did as far as the number of signatures collected. And Hanifa's been working way longer than Dr. Valerie. Hanifa's working longer than me.
Yep.
She started about...
Which goes to show you this is no easy task, by the way.
So Hanifa started about a year ago.
I want
And
to say, yeah.
she was pretty diligent about collecting signatures along the way, and she still ended up. So for a year of traveling and campaigning and going around the state and getting signatures, and she still didn't make it.
Nope.
She was short hundreds in key parts of the state.
Yeah, there were several districts. I want to say 3 or 4 districts she didn't make it, or maybe 3.
So we sort of teed this up on the last show, saying we wonder if she's going to file because she obviously worked super hard. She's a nice lady. She's knowledgeable. She's got great positions. She's a great candidate. However, one of the requirements to file for U.S. Senate is it's an Indiana law that you have to have 500 certified signatures in each congressional district, and she wasn't there.
That's correct.
So just like the person that flies in from Pennsylvania and files to run for U.S. Senate in Indiana,
Didn't meet the requirements.
she doesn't meet the requirements.
And she's subject
but
to
she's right
challenge.
now, her and Dr. Valerie, even though they don't have the signatures, are
Filed for U.S. Senate.
right. And if nobody challenges them,
They're on the ballot.
okay. So that sort of leaves me in a predicament, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, yeah, I guess in a way, but I mean, the rules are the rules, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that we agree with them, and we've talked about that.
I don't think that they should have been allowed. I think it leaves candidates like me in a bad position because I met the qualifications to run for U.S. Senate, and I worked hard, spent a lot of money, campaign money, I spent a lot of time, sacrificed a lot of opportunities to raise more money to make sure that we got these signatures.
Yeah, the onus in the way the Indiana law is set up is the onus is on the on voters or other opponents of candidates to challenge them. It's not on the Lake County election voter and registration division. It's not on each county's election and registration or voter registration division, or for in this case where you're running statewide, it's not on the election commission's duty to challenge candidates. It's on the other candidates or voters to challenge other candidates.
So after, did you say February 18th, Kevin?
No, so the challenges have to be filed by a certain date, and then the commission, I believe, hears challenges on the 18th.
So, and if you don't challenge them,
They
Then
stay
they're
on
on.
the ballot.
and then so I have 2 opponents running against me that don't meet the qualifications to run for U.S. Senate.
That's correct. At least from what we hear, yes, that's correct.
So, which leaves me in an awkward spot because obviously I met the requirements and they didn't. Right?
Yeah, right.
So
And-
I'm getting phone calls from political people
sure.
that are saying you have to find somebody to challenge both of them, and I'm like, okay, that's going to be a fun call. Who should I talk to? And they suggested people. Why don't you call this person? I'm like, that's awkward as hell. Hey, friend of mine, right? Or acquaintance of mine. I need you to file a challenge against, Hanifa
and Valerie.
And Valerie.
Yeah.
And you're going to get called to Indianapolis and you're going to have to testify and you're going to be the
present
focus of attention. And if you do your job right way, acquaintance, I'm going to be uncontested in this race. And then I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just be the one that challenges him, right? Because
I mean, you could.
why would I have somebody that I know or a friend or an acquaintance carry my water for me? That's just not my style. They're doing it for me. And so why would I, let's say, John, I convinced you to file a challenge against Hanifa and to file a challenge against Dr. McCrae. Everybody's going to know John's doing it for me. Right? And in the meantime, John gets slandered and defamed and his ass kicked. He gets dragged through the mud, right?
That sounds like fun.
That's what
I'm
saying.
in.
Hey, John, congratulations.
Let's go.
You're doing the challenges.
Great.
We're going to see what happens.
You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be people that support Dr. McCrae, and there's going to be people that
Sure,
support Hanifa that go
Oh,
after
yeah.
John and me, by the way. They're going to be like, John's just carrying water for the mayor.
So in other words, you're going to get it no matter what anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
why not just do it?
Right.
That's kind of what you're saying.
It's a weird spot, though, because it makes me look like a jerk.
Well, I mean, does it though, or does it just
does.
mean like
It's
you
a
gotta
requirement
follow
under the law.
Right. I mean, so let me put it this way: if the roles were reversed
They
and
would knock me
Hanifa
out.
had the signatures and you didn't,
They would
I
knock
would
me.
expect Hanifa to file a challenge. Not
In a second. She would.
well, and I would expect her to. It's not like I would think like
I wouldn't
oh,
even file.
Don't file.
If I didn't have the signatures, I
get it.
wouldn't have even filed. I wouldn't have even filed because you know what's inevitable. You're just
Right.
going to get
kicked
challenged.
off the ballot. Yeah.
Right.
So three of the 4 election commissioners have to vote to remove somebody from the ballot.
And it's weird because it's 4 people in the Indiana election
Which
commission.
actually I like. It's set up 2-2. I mean,
Right.
that's a good thing for Indiana. It really is. They set it up the right way. It's literally bipartisan. It's 2-2.
But this law is not ambiguous at all.
No.
This law is very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't meet it.
It's not like you made your best efforts. Like, good job,
Right.
you
Good
tried.
job. You worked really hard. You didn't you didn't get all of them, but you worked really hard. So we're just going to let you go.
Right.
I mean, Todd Young got through.
And that was, I mean, looking back at that time, I was doing a little research into that. He was, it was like $4.99 or something
And
like
he
that.
had way
it was-
more. He
Yeah.
had like 540 or something.
Yeah, something like that. And it got there was just like a challenge on certain number of signatures, and it ended up at $4.99. And the commission was like,
So
you
he
know
turned
what,
in
we're
way
not
more.
gonna.
He turned in more than 500.
Yeah, we're not going to weigh in on each of these names. We're going to say you did it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it ended. And it is what it is. It happened. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
I mean, I think it sounds like a challenge is coming from what I hear in your voice.
I think that I would be committing malpractice as
A candidate.
a candidate if I didn't.
Well, I mean, here let's just be honest. I mean, it sure is nice to have a clean primary. If you didn't, right?
I mean, I'm trying to take on a U.S. senator who's got millions of dollars at his disposal, who could literally. He did yesterday. He sent out a.
We're going to get to that.
We're going to get to that in a second. But he's already raising money based off of me. He said my candidate qualified, and we'll read that to you in mailbag. But I have to raise millions of dollars, and I have to go one-on-one with a sitting U.S. senator. It would definitely be a lot easier to have a clean primary.
I agree. I mean, as it's somebody involved in the campaign, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a clean primary is great because now it's just like you're only raising. There's no entities are saying like, well, you got a primary, you got to wait. I don't want to really choose sides yet. Clears it out just for the challenge, for you versus Todd Young.
I'd be committing malpractice as a candidate if I didn't challenge him. I would be. And the fact is, it was not easy to do what we did. We did it. And it was through the help of, I literally had 100 people working for me across the state of Indiana, not making a penny from us. People that like believe in Tom McDermott. People that like would go to war for Tom McDermott. They did. And I didn't ask any of them. That was the great part. Kevin, you really coordinated most of the efforts.
Yeah, I don't want to forget Phil. Phil actually helped a lot, and
Phil Taylor.
Yeah, Phil and I. Phil helped with a couple of the organized events, and obviously I did as well, and we got it done. And
that's one of the things about my campaign is I'm really lucky. I have a ton of volunteers that'll go to war for me and not ask for a penny. And Vesmar's one of them. He went on the road with you and got signatures.
Yeah, John was in Fort Wayne, which was great. Fort Wayne. I think we called it the Fort Wayne Fury or something.
And then you guys went to Goshen Flash. Also, right?
We went to Kokomo. The Kokomo.
You went to Warsaw also, right?
We went to, let's see, Kokomo, Fort Wayne, the South Bend Slam, the Bloomington Blitz, the Kokomo Crush, and the Fort Wayne, Flash or something. Phil came up with those. Those are great. So, it was a lot of fun. And by the way, the Fishers and Carmel and places in between, Bloomington and Terre Haute and everywhere else, Lafayette.
We've been all over the state. I dropped my map yesterday.
Small towns and big towns.
We went all over the state. I mean, literally. Did you see that map I dropped yesterday, guys?
No, I've heard about the map.
Oh yeah, it's on Twitter, John.
Yeah, pull it up.
On Twitter.
Pull it up.
Let's pull that up.
Every time I go to a place, I put a pin drop for me. I mean, it's either a red or a blue pin. I have my own code.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then every time the team made a team stop someplace, I put up. There it is, John. I put a green pin down for the team. Could you click on that, John?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we covered. Indiana is like been covered by my
Power
team.
in America.
By the way, like the people that do that, all the green, that was all volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers, and absolutely, those were
the green. There's dozens and dozens of green spots, and by the way, just one pin equals like 5 hours of work on the ground. So like, you don't really appreciate how much work it took for us to do this. But if you look at that map of Indiana, we covered it. Even the far southwestern tip, Posey County.
Scroll it down.
We're down there.
Oh,
look at
my
that.
God.
The very far southwestern tip.
Ed Adams and Jeff and out of Gibson County and Cheryl and Vanderburg, all that down there in the southwest. I know that Jim Talon drove down there, which is why we have the pin.
Mm-hmm.
So and Knox County
nice
and Marcia
map.
and all those folks and all
that
around
all
the state.
The forest areas.
It's 4 foot tall, Lindsay. I know you can't really appreciate it, but it's 4 foot tall, and those are just
I
little.
appreciate it. This is a nice map.
But as you see, I do a lot of. Obviously, I live in Northwest Indiana, so most of my dots, my personal ones, are in the region.
Are you going to keep adding to this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. By the time
Nice.
it's next November,
a
Pins.
it's
We gotta
just
go.
pins.
Just
you'll
pins.
see like the
Bulletin
metro.
board of pins.
The metro areas will be covered in pins, of course. Like Indianapolis is already getting to where I have to. There's too many pins for me.
going in diagonally with the
Yeah,
pins.
I am. I'm
gotta
trying
fit it
to.
in.
But you'll see.
There's a couple of funny pins on there, like that southeast pin, Vive. Jeff Smith
orange
has a
ones
great
here?
story. The
Those-
bottom right, like
that was-
southeast. That was
Those are that's New Albany right there, John. And that's when I go to New Albany. I usually crash New Albany. I fly home from Louisville, but those are those dots down there. New
Wow.
Albany. I made a couple trips down there.
Are some of those pins in Kentucky?
no. That's
Yeah,
believe
it's
it or
just-
not, that's Vive on the river in Switzerland County.
No, Lindsay's probably looking at the one in Louisville.
Oh, New
It's
Albany.
New Albany and Louisville are right next to each other, babe. So like,
I
it's
know
just,
that I've been there, but
yeah. So
wow.
All right, cool map. Let's
Cool
do
stuff.
some ads and
We'll do
come
some
back
ads.
with mailbag.
we got mailbag. We got Todd Rokita, always fun. And then we're going to talk about today is an interesting day in politics in Northwest Indiana. And we're going to talk a little bit about a caucus we have coming up. And it's good education for those of you that want to, like, what happens if somebody dies in office? What happens if somebody quits in office? How is the spot filled? We have a situation like that going tomorrow for a state senator that's retiring, Senator Frank Mervan, who's been
Not the congressman, his
not
dad.
the congressman, his dad, who's been the senator for my
Long
city,
time.
Indiana, since I've been mayor. He's been in there a long time.
True.
So anyway, let's go ahead and do some ads, and then we'll come back with some interesting political stories. So
All right.
Executive Suites Squared. Executive Suites Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment located on 8094 at Kennedy Avenue. ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with 24/7 secured access. So no matter how big or small your business may be, they can accommodate the way you work. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit them at executivesuites2.com. That's executivesuites2.com.
I like that. It was like making sure it was plural.
Yep.
This Valentine's Day, embark on a date night like no other to create a love connection for a lonely Mars rover. Join Challenger Learning Center on Saturday, February 12th from 5 to 8 p.m.
Kevin, can you read it like Tom did last session?
No.
I was told.
I don't think I have a.
I was told
it
was not sexy.
Voice.
I was told it was not a sexy voice.
Well, we said that, but I'm glad it was.
I was told.
You were told.
Oh, yeah.
Told by his wife.
My boss. Yeah.
You know who we should get to read that? Andy Short.
Andy.
He's got the
We
voice.
should do that.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Chief Andy Short.
We'll just have him read it,
This
and we'll just
February.
Record it.
Oh, that's
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Oh,
Chief
dude,
Put some
Short.
music to it.
Yeah.
Some Barry White.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
man.
Barry White
We
voice
got to get
of
on
his?
that. We got to get on that.
We
All
have
right,
to.
Good.
So
Chief
we
Short,
don't even
you
have to
gotta
read
come
them. You'll just push play on it. right?
Exactly.
Join Challenger. We better get on it because Valentine's Day is like in a week.
True.
Join Challenger Learning Center on Saturday, February 12th from 5 to 8 p.m. For a brand new Red Planet Romance event with dinner and drinks presented by Byway Brewery. Register today at clcnwi.com and hurry because this does sell out.
Calumet Brewery.
All right, John, you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I don't know if this is right, but we're going to try it.
What's that?
It's the Michelob beer with song commercial.
You're going to remember. Well, I saw the
1978.
tag. You're going to remember
Oh.
this.
Okay.
Tonight's the night. Let it be Michelob or something like that. I just hit it.
All right.
I just got
Let's
it.
find out what it is. I think.
Go ahead, John.
You want me to play it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let it
Play
be
before or right when you say Michelob.
Okay. Let's get the new year started with a Michelob Ultra. Ultra has only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, so it is sure to keep your resolutions in check while continuing to be one of the fastest growing brands nationally and in the region. Take your resolutions to the next level and try an organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories. Ultra Pure Gold is brewed for your healthy lifestyle. Check out calbrew.com or CalBrew's Facebook page for brand info and giveaways. Cheers with beers.
Oh, wow.
Is this a copyrighted song? Okay.
Weekends were made for special friends.
That's it.
Weekends were made for you and me.
We're going to go drink beer.
For special things. Weekends were made for Michelob.
That's it. Weekends are made from
Yeah.
Michelob.
Hey,
Everybody
guys.
looked so different back then, didn't
I
they?
know.
Yeah, they did.
You know, I have some bad news.
What's that?
1977, by the way.
I just looked up the Red Planet Romance, and they're
Sold out.
Sold out.
I was going to get some for Brian and me, but I waited
Oh,
too
man.
long.
Dang.
Like, thank you, Brian, for
Lara?
letting me park in the garage.
This
I'm
is what you
getting us,
get, Bri.
Wow, there goes your Valentine's Day idea.
Should
I
we stop
know.
running that ad then? Do we need new
Hey,
material?
they paid for it. We're
Nope,
going to just
nope,
keep
we're running
saying
it.
it.
Okay.
Grazolius Concrete was voted number one in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and 2021. Grazolius Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they've been using the original cement finish in the
California style.
since 1972 and also offers stamped and colored concrete. Call now at 219-659-4127 to get your project lined up for the spring.
All right, let's go ahead and do some mailbag.
John.
Mailbag.
All right, this is from Senator Todd Young. Interesting. First time on mailbags for the Senator Young. This is
He emailed us?
he emailed his supporters talking about me.
With
That's
a big
smart.
red siren, by the way, in the subject line.
Oh, I didn't even
it was
notice
like
that.
alert.
My subject matter. My radical Biden supporting opponent just made the ballot.
What
Wow.
a opening sentence.
Dude,
Like, look at that.
I would be like, I'm opening this now.
Hard.
Right? And
Tom,
you open it. Yeah.
You're a radical leftist?
I am now. I am now.
Holy.
This is news to me.
I'm going to send this to the progressives in the party
And
say,
remind
I
them,
told
see?
you. See? That's the funny
what?
thing is,
For those of you who thought I was just a moderate,
right, the progressives in my party get disgusted sometimes with my positions because I'm too moderate for them. And
Wow.
to Senator Young, I'm a leftist radical. So
here we go.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
I can't. I can't wait to see what he says.
That's, you know where I am?
I'm in the
Left
middle-
of
left
center.
of center.
That's right. Hence
Go figure.
the name, right?
Oh, I get it now.
Let's keep going. Can we keep going on this?
It's been 2 years.
Sounds like
and I didn't realize.
It wasn't just LOCPOD.
Yeah, right. My radical leftist opponent just made the ballot.
Wow, that's why the siren's there.
Simply put, he would be another vote for Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer.
Even though,
That's another 2 years of skyrocketing cost of living, trillions of dollars in spending, open borders, foreign policy crises, and much more that we cannot afford.
Wow.
To make matters worse, my opponent believes Biden has done a, quote, great job, unquote, and would be, quote, proud to stand next to him and campaign, unquote.
Where did he get that quote?
Duncan, we don't need
Probably from
another.
Lockpod.
Yeah. Duncan.
Improper
Sorry,
MLA
Duncan.
format.
Oh no! Oh no, Tom! I mean, I censored it all on here, and you're just reading it.
We don't need another radical Democrat in Washington that will rubber stamp Biden's socialist agenda.
Socialist. I love it.
Duncan, can you please chip in $10, $25, or whatever you can right now to help me fight back? Sorry, Duncan. I screwed up for you.
For you.
This is my favorite.
I
part.
love this
Coming
one.
up.
What's that? Oh, gosh, I didn't even see
The
that.
amount of money you're going to raise.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
There's no doubt that the moment Biden and Washington Democrats get involved, my opponent will raise record-setting amounts of money from leftist mega donors.
Please.
Ooh.
That's why we have to keep up the pressure. If we don't defend my seat in Indiana, there will be no way for Republicans to reclaim the Senate majority. I now ask you, a lot of you, but will you please consider chipping in $10 right now? Thank you so much for your continued support. Sincerely, Todd Young,
My
a.k.a.
radical-
I was a
Record.
Marine.
You're going to raise record-setting amounts of money. It's like,
guess.
come on.
I mean, there's no doubt Todd Young has already set record-setting amounts of money.
He keeps
Todd,
reminding us about that.
he raised more money than Joe Donnelly and Richard Lugar combined.
already.
Right, already.
$1.5 million last quarter.
So, like,
Because he's nervous.
by the way, most people consider Richard Lugar one of the best senators Indiana ever put forth, right?
Sure.
And Joe Donnelly is in the Vatican right now. He's probably doing all right with his life.
Yeah, he's leaving in March, he said.
Really? Mm-hmm. So, like, if Joe Biden and Richard Lugar, two amazing, excellent senators, Hoosier senators, and Todd Young raises way more than both of them.
Tells you how crazy and partisan it's
And
become.
he's saying, I'm going to raise record. And by the way, John, where did he get those quotes? That
Yeah. Where
First
did he
off,
get those
I don't
quotes?
do it. Did I say
I want to say it's Lockpod.
Biden has done a great job?
He's listening.
I probably did.
I'm sure.
I think in some areas Biden has done a great job, and I think there's other areas he could have done better.
Of course.
And then did I say proud to stand next to him in campaign?
I think probably you did. at
I
some
would
point.
hope that. I mean, if the president of the United States wanted to campaign with me, I would campaign with him.
Hold on,
right?
I just want to. Okay, yeah, okay, quote unquote, great job. It's just that it's such a tiny quote.
Right.
I wonder where they
He
pulled it
could
from.
have said great job in
Quote,
any
unquote, great
context
job.
Right.
or
For example, we could have been
context.
talking about the infrastructure bill. We could have been talking to ARP.
He did do a great job on that.
I agree.
Right.
That could have been it. Yeah.
The billions of dollars that Todd Young voted against.
Yeah.
But the I'm trying to remember on the campaign trail for Congress, you got beat up about the moderate side of you, but now you're a radical leftist. But I can't remember what that issue was.
That's
off
the
top of my
hilarious.
head.
That's the hilarious part of this whole thing, John.
Yeah.
Is in the Democratic primary, I got painted as like a Trump supporting
Exactly. Mailers. I saw mailers. that you made
Republican-
Mailers
Trump-
upon mailers.
multiple
Trump supporter.
mailers.
Yeah.
Trump supporting Democrat in name only.
But now you're a radical leftist.
And now to Todd Young on the other side, I'm a radical
If
socialist,
that, if that
basically.
doesn't just prove politics right there.
yeah.
Right?
Let's
It's like
put,
first
let's put
off,
words together.
people just talk mad crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what they do, and they like paint you, and you know, they try to get people to believe what they're saying.
Which is why I've always said, don't judge Tom until you get to meet him in person. And I think that's part of the thing, and that's why that map's so important. Because when you get in front of people and you get out in front of Hoosiers, they're like, "This guy is great." And I
then
think that's been the response.
In the congressional campaign, my biggest strength, which is talking to people and getting out in front of people, was taken
COVID.
from me because of COVID, and it really hampered my campaign
I think so.
dramatically. you know?
Reference, citation, season 1, episode 1 and 2.
Yeah,
WTF.
happened. Part 1 and 2. Good shows.
Those
by the
are our
way.
most popular shows.
Wow.
On
They are.
YouTube, Apple Pod. You got to go back and listen to those if you
Yeah,
haven't
we were
yet.
just rookie podcasters then.
We didn't even back then. You guys didn't even talk. It was weird. I remember you didn't have microphones, and
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I remember you guys talked, and we were like, "What the hell?" Like these two are talking with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about Kevin and me. That's how it started
right.
off.
Now it's about Lindsay,
No, it's
the
all-
notorious LMP,
and Brian.
and
It's all
Brian
about-
and John.
It's all like
You know-
fairness and equality in here now. It's ridiculous.
I'm a big fan of fairness and equality.
Oh, like parking on the street. When
Yes.
it snows.
Like letting my husband park in the garage.
Because I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
And he usually gets up before I do. So.
Yeah, Brian and I are going to talk. My son-in-law.
I have a
Wait till
feeling.
I was going to say
Yikes.
Griffith. Next stop, Griffith.
Here we go.
Hey, we have an interesting Todd Young story that was
Yes.
on Twitter yesterday. and
More
I
Todd Young.
I couldn't pounce on it because I had a pretty busy day yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I was pretty much off the radar. But this is interesting. This is a tweet by Jake Sherman. Jake Sherman, CNN?
John.
I don't know.
I don't either.
He's got a
He's
blue
got the
check.
check
Oh.
mark. He's got like 300,000 followers. I thought for some reason he was
Founder
a
of
talking
Punch
head.
Bowl News,
Okay.
ABC News, and
NBC,
MSNBC.
yeah.
And a best-selling author.
And a Fish and Dead fan.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah,
John's
we have a lot in common. Nice. But anyway, I don't really listen to Fish, but I'm not averse, and I realize that
You
Fish
like
is,
jam bands.
Yeah, Fish is basically the modern-day Dead. So, but anyway, the news media operates relatively freely in the Capitol. This is a quote from
Jake Sherman.
Jake Sherman description of something that happened to a reporter from military.com. Okay. So this is what Jake was talking about. He said in the Capitol, the news media operates relatively freely, and lawmakers are quite generous with their time. Meaning in the Capitol, reporters are just walking around, and if they
Catch
see
in the hallway,
Right.
catch in the tunnel.
you'll see these, interviews all the time where the senator or the congressman's walking from the floor back to their office, and they get caught in the hallway by a reporter, and they ask them questions, and then you'll see the interview in the Capitol, like literally in the hallway, right?
All the
So
time.
this is what Jake is describing. But Senator Todd Young, Republican from Indiana, decided this morning he wasn't so interested in talking to a certain reporter. And Young, a former Marine, used a very harsh response to cut off a line of questioning that he didn't like. Here's Young's interaction with Rebecca Keel of military.com.
All right, Lindsay, you're Rebecca Keel.
Nice.
Ooh, I
Okay.
get to act
Yes,
today?
you're the actress.
I can see it.
Do you want to be
Here we
Todd
go.
Young?
You be Todd Young.
Okay.
I'll be Todd Young.
You be Todd Young.
All right.
Okay, so Lindsay, you're Rebecca Keel, a reporter from military.com. And Kevin, you are Todd Young,
Whoa, wow, I'm a senator.
U.S. Senator.
This is exciting
Okay,
for me.
let's do this.
You were just in a briefing about the threat. Do we have enough to address the threat?
Who are you with, young lady?
Military.com.
Okay, none of my constituents read it, so I don't feel like answering it. Have a good day. Later.
And he walks
out.
off. That was it.
Not
was
even
it.
sure if he said "have a good day" based
didn't.
on the
Yeah,
quote.
you're
so.
right.
He
Yeah,
just
true.
said, she asked the reporter,
It's giving him the benefit of the
Rebecca Keel asked a question about, he was just in a briefing about the threat. I imagine they're talking about either what happened with Syria or what's going on with Ukraine and Russia.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, Syria happened and it was in the news cycle yesterday. I think that if I had to guess, they were talking about Ukraine and Russia because they're talking about the threat.
And
right?
she works for military.com, and he is
Right.
a former Marine. So you would think.
So I don't think they're talking about the SEAL operation that took out the Al Qaeda leader, right?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe,
whatever.
yeah, it's probably
So,
about Ukraine or
anyway,
some
who
other
are you with? Military.com. She answers, okay, none of my constituents read that, so I don't feel like answering.
So
And he walks off.
I thought her response was classic.
So they tweeted it out, Rebecca Keel. Senator Young, so Rebecca Keel texts it out, or tweets it out what happens, and it goes viral. Okay?
Yeah,
and
punch
everybody's,
bars, Jake Sherman did.
Jake Sherman did. And everybody's like, what an asshole Todd Young is, especially because he always tells everybody he's a Marine, and then he's completely disrespectful to military.com. And 130,000 Hoosiers read military.com, veterans. 130,000 Hoosier veterans, including
God.
Mayor Tom McDermott, by the way, a Hoosier veteran. So Young basically disrespects military.com. It starts going viral, and then people are like, Senator Young, are you insane? You tell everybody that walks that you're a Marine and you're refusing to do an interview with military.com, and he realizes he really stepped in it. And they're like, you're running against a Navy veteran. He's going to claim the veterans.
Radical left Navy veteran.
Yeah, right. But still, like they're like, think about the politics, Senator Young. You just disrespected military.com, and you claim to be a Marine and claim to be a proud Marine, and this is just a bad look, right? So Young reevaluates the situation way after it happens and calls up Miss Keel and apologizes.
You got that, John?
Yeah.
Here it is. Yep.
Senator Young, this is from Rebecca. Senator Young just called to apologize, which I appreciate, and thank you to so many of my colleagues in the press corps who stuck up for me. I'll keep seeking accountability on behalf of the veterans and service members who read at military.com, including our 130,000 readers in Indiana.
Wow.
Rebecca Keel.
I think you'd do an interview with Rebecca Keel.
I do interviews with everybody.
That's right.
I do.
So her phone rings. Hello. Hey, this is Senator Young.
I just blew you off.
This is the same Young. Yeah, I just blew you off. Hey, I'm sorry.
I'm in trouble.
Have a good day.
All my political people are yelling at me. This is going viral on the internet, and I would like to put a stop to it. So I want to apologize.
Wow.
And he did. Give him. By the way, like I'm
sure.
I'm going to take a step back.
Everybody can have a bad day.
I do that. I sometimes am an asshole. Okay. I sometimes say things to people. I do. Like, stop snickering. Okay. Sometimes I come off the wrong way and I'm a little pissy. Maybe Senator Young was having a bad day. Okay. I'm not making excuses for this guy because I could see Tom McDermott doing something like this and pissing somebody off and it goes viral and then I have to retreat and apologize for it. Okay. So, like, I'm going to, like, give him credit for apologizing here.
There you go.
I'm going to give him credit for it because it takes a big man
Good
to
to do
apologize.
that.
I apologize a lot, and he did. So let's give him
We
credit
even
for
had a
it.
segment on Lockpod for a while.
Apologies. Yeah, Tom apologized, right?
Yes.
But yeah, so in that case, that's the little campaign issues that came up yesterday with Senator Young.
All right.
Hey, interesting day today. When you run for office, there's certain days where you have to file, and there's where we do it in Northwest Indiana and Indiana in general. There's like a month-long period where you file for office, okay? Now, the last day of filing is today in Northwest Indiana at noon, and it's a circus, basically.
It is an event. If you have never, I mean, I don't know how it is in other counties in Indiana. In Lake County, it's like a social event. A lot of people go down there to watch who's going to file, who's going to withdraw, what's going to happen, look at the races. You'll see a lot of elected officials. You'll see a bunch of precinct committee people. You'll see city and town chairs down there. It's kind of a circus.
It is. It's fun. Actually, I can't
yeah.
do it. I have work that's going to prevent me from being able to be there. But it's something you'll see. All the major players are standing in the hallway, waiting for somebody basically to last minute file.
Wow.
And to change the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yesterday, that's happening at noon today where we live. Yesterday, there was a big file in the Lake County Sheriff's race. And obviously, we've been talking about Oscar Martinez, a friend of the show. Oscar Martinez has a legal situation about a traffic infraction, basically. Misdemeanor, or it could be a felony if it was resisting, right?
Fleeing, right? If it was fleeing.
Right. He has a indictment hanging over his head for a traffic violation, and it could be the type of violation that causes him to lose his office. If he has to, if he's found guilty of a felony, for instance, he would automatically forfeit his office, and obviously he would seek appeal and things like that, but he would no longer be the sheriff. So bad timing, unfortunate timing for the sheriff because you're literally in election year and you got this indictment hanging over your head about the traffic issue.
Which, by the way, I think he's pushing to trial, which is smart.
Right.
Get done with
it. But still, you're going to trial.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Over fleeing cops, and you're the sheriff, and you're also running for election. And then yesterday, a major player in region politics. I mean, maybe not a major player, but a player.
A perennial player.
Yeah, he's run for sheriff a number of times. He's from the city of Gary, which is the biggest voting block in Northwest Indiana, for sure. It's a power center for if you want to seek office countywide, if you want to be congressman, anything like that, senator. You have to deal with Gary's precinct organization and the residents of Gary, and the residents of Gary will reward you if they like you, and if they don't like you, you're in trouble. Okay. It's a major place that you definitely have to do business, and if you're going to be successful in Northwest Indiana politics.
Absolutely.
Now, the guy that filed is Richard Ligon, who's a retired postal inspector. He was a colonel in the Army, if I remember correctly, and obviously he's I like him. Nice person, very nice person, very squared away. He's very military.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's run for sheriff before.
Run for sheriff. He was postal inspector, so he has a police background. If given the opportunity, I know he'd be a good sheriff. There's no doubt in my mind he'd be a good sheriff, right? However, I'm supporting Oscar Martinez, who's the current sheriff. So it leaves me in a dilemma. But for Oscar, this is not an ideal situation. I think that most would agree with that, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Oscar's goal has to be to get these legal issues behind him so that they're resolved and so that he can focus on getting reelected.
Right.
I think that's the...
And I think he's set for trial right now in April.
Yeah, I think the quicker the better.
Wow.
Let's get it. If I'm him, I'm like, let's get to trial. Let me
You
get
want
this
resolution.
out in front. Resolution, yeah. So then it'd be like, it's behind me. Let's
Right.
go.
The worst case would be for him if a trial was in June. It'd be horrible for him.
Yep.
Because
And that's why I think I'm sure his
there's nothing
attorney-
worse than a question mark hanging over your head,
for sure.
right? So Oscar would have this question mark hanging over his head, and that's not good for politics because people have to. You're voting for the next 4 years, and if you're worried about whether or not Oscar would be the sheriff, it's going to leave people sort of in a quandary, right?
Right.
Especially if you're from Gary and a guy like Richard Liggins running, who's a great candidate. So theoretically, he could have a lot of Gary support, which would pose problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge, and I mean, it's something that I'm sure Oscar, both politically and personally, is trying to deal with. He's got his legal issues that he's trying to deal with, and then of course politically, he needs to still get support of Gary, and now he's got a Gary candidate in the race.
Right.
So it's interesting. We'll see what happens today.
So we got that going on with the sheriff, and obviously we're going to be updating you on that. And the sheriff's race is always the biggest race going. So we got that
In the primary, sure.
In the primary, yeah. After May, it's another thing happening tomorrow. So, am I missing anything? Oh,
No.
What about the clerk situation?
I think we just hit the caucus.
You don't want to talk about the clerk situation?
Sure. Oh yeah. The
Because
clerk,
it's sort of out of. There's a situation in the region also where the Lake County clerk, Lorenzo Arredondo, suffered a fall about 3 weeks ago
Yeah, sure. 3-4 weeks ago.
and has not been seen since.
Well, not in public because he's been recuperating.
He hasn't said a word publicly. He hasn't been seen publicly. And this is literally 3.5 weeks ago that this fall was suffered. Not a lot of details. There was an article that basically from the family saying, pray for Lorenzo. He's doing well. He's recovering. And it's a weird spot for him because he's entitled to a second term if he wins.
And I think easily would get a second term.
If he was campaigning the normal Lake County Clerk Lorenzo Arredondo would easily win a second term. However, there's this question mark above his head right now. And there's people that are seeking to take advantage of this uncertainty because what if more is happening? Like, what if he's not as healthy as we're being told? What if he can't campaign? What if he drops out next week? Because you could drop out. So as of today, you can't file anymore.
Noon.
However, you have a week and 2 days now to drop out.
It used
right?
to be the weekend.
It used
Now
to be
it's
the
been-
weekend.
Now, it's
Now
a
they
week.
expended it by 1 week to give you an opportunity if you file to pull yourself out of the race. Okay? So what the fear is there's some plans being cooked up where people know that Lorenzo won't be running. And if this is true, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just telling you what the fear
rumors.
is.
The
The
rumor
rumor
mill.
is Lorenzo is not going to be in any kind of position to run for a second term. That's the rumor. I'm not saying it's true or not. I don't know if
I hope it's
true.
not.
I haven't talked to him since this happened.
I
I've
like
been
the
praying
guy.
for him to.
Yeah.
Him and my wife are very good friends, right? So, but the fear is, what if somebody files to run against him, and God forbid something happens to him that prevents him from running?
Right.
Then everybody out of respect doesn't file against Lorenzo because they respect Lorenzo, and God forbid something happens to him in his recuperation that makes it impossible for him to continue as a Lake County clerk. And then we're sort of stuck with who filed to run against him, right?
Exactly.
Which leaves local elected officials in a weird spot.
Talk about a quandary.
Especially like Lorenzo's number 2 is a friend of ours, a friend of the show, Mike Brown. He's a councilman in Gary. He was formerly Lake County clerk.
He's been on, hasn't he?
Mike? No, I don't believe so.
No? I
No.
thought. No?
No.
All right.
So it leaves a guy like Mike in a weird spot. Mike was number 2. Mike is number 2,
And he's been the clerk.
and he's been the clerk.
And
And
the
so
recorder.
he doesn't want to look like a jerk by filing to run against his boss. But if he is loyal to his boss and doesn't file and somebody else does, that somebody else is probably going to become clerk if something bad happens to Lorenzo's recovery. And that has to be decided today. So
This is the excitement that's going to be going on down
yeah,
there before
so you
noon.
may see today Mike Brown file against his boss. And I think it's a wise move for him personally. If you want to, because you could drop out. Today's the last day you could file.
Yeah.
So like, I think that personally, I think just to cover us, I think just to cover Mike, who I know one day wants to be the clerk again, I think Mike should file personally. And then we'll see where we are with Lorenzo. And hopefully we'll learn that Lorenzo's in great health and he's recuperating and recovering, and he should be back.
And there's time to withdraw.
And there's time for Mike to withdraw. But if Mike doesn't file today,
We could be left with whoever files.
right.
If Lorenzo withdrew. All right. Well, interesting.
And by the way, it's been known to happen in Northwest Indiana politics where people file and they know that they're going to withdraw. and then they get somebody else to file last second, like today, and then they pull out.
Yeah.
And it's too late for anybody to file again. That game happens
Antics.
every 4 to 6 years. You'll see that. It happened with the circuit court in 2010, and it could happen today. And we need to protect ourselves against that. And, so that's interesting what's going on.
Politics are at play.
Right. And then tomorrow we have something interesting happening with a caucus. We mentioned earlier Frank Mervan, Indiana senator for
1st District.
25 years,
Sure.
25 plus years.
Probably close to that.
Okay. Indiana Senator Frank Mervan, Sr., the father of the congressman, is retiring.
Yeah.
He
I think he's
announced.
close to 90.
Yeah, I think he's actually older than 90. I think he's 92 for some
Oh,
reason.
wow. I think
yeah.
88 or something.
And he was obviously not in, I guess he didn't really feel like campaigning for another 4-year term, and he decided to resign 1 year early. I think that was a good move personally, because I think it's hard for him to get down to Indy. He's having, it seems like he has trouble getting around.
Yep.
Right. And so Senator Mervan is retiring, and he has 1 year left on his term. And there's 2 people running for that spot. And the way this is filled, it's not just like picked by the state party. It's not just picked by it's picked by people called precinct committee people. Like, I'm a precinct committee person for 5-4, Hammond 5-4.
Which is in Senator Mervan's district.
Which is in Senator Mervan's district. So we have a caucus tomorrow we have to go to with all the precinct committeemen in Senator Mervan's district.
All the Democratic. So if
all
it's
the Democratic.
if it's a Democratic, so if there's an elected official that's a Democrat, the Democratic precinct committee people fill the vacancy. If it's a Republican senator or any elected office that is vacated because of death or resignation or whatever, then the Republican precinct committee people. So it stays within the same party.
Right. So whoever gets chosen tomorrow gets the final 1 year of Frank's term, Senator Mervan's term, and then they get to campaign as Senator so-and-so, which gives you an advantage when you're running for the 4-year term, which happens in May, by the way.
And the weird thing about this, right, Mayor, is that the district changed.
The district changed. So the old district votes it, and this is a little in the woods, but yeah, the district changed. So whoever takes over as senator will represent Hammond residents for 1 year, and then the district changes.
Like, for example, if this was next year, you wouldn't be a vote for this because you're not going to be in his district. So it's interesting, right? Yeah, the district changed. So.
Anyway, there's 2 people running for that. Michael Griffin, who's the clerk treasurer from the town of Highland, a real smart guy. It's been clerk treasurer for
30 years.
Longer than I've been mayor. So he's been there for a long time, does a great job. And then a young man, Army veteran, Martin Del Rio, fan of the show, by the way. He might be listening right now.
Yeah, he's in chat right now.
He usually does listen. Martin Del Rio is a great young man. Him and I have known each other for a number of years. 2 good candidates running against each other for this race, and the caucus is tomorrow. So it should be interesting. That happens tomorrow, and the winner out of Michael and Martin will be Indiana State Senator for 1 year guaranteed. They'll take the rest of Senator Mervan's term, and then they'll run for re-election in May for the full 4-year term. So
all right,
that
happens tomorrow.
So when politicians die or when politicians can't complete their term anymore, this is the process that's used to fill the seat, and it's a caucus, basically.
That's what a caucus is.
Caucus.
All right.
Caucus.
Love a good caucus. Everybody loves a good caucus. So, all right. We have one last story we wanted to hit about the Indiana Attorney General. He's probably a fan of the show because we talk about him so much.
Todd Rokita,
Talk,
as President Trump likes to say.
so talk to me. We watched last show. We did a clip where former President, number 45, Donald J. Trump, announced in a Texas rally, Todd Rokita was in the audience and pronounced it like he never heard the name before. He goes, Todd Rokita. Thank you very much. You're doing a great job. He said something to those effects. And Todd Rokita was down there to tour the wall.
Tour actually Rio Grande, and I don't know if you say it Rio Grande or Rio Grande, and see that here's a nice picture of him that we're going to throw up. He was on like a Border Patrol boat,
right?
And he's got some gear going, checking out one of those guns or whatever those things are on the end of the boats. Turrets, yeah. And then it came out that Rokita is billing the trip to Indiana taxpayers. Now, so Rokita's office confirmed the trip was being paid for with official funds and that he drove but didn't immediately release details about the cost. He headed to the border to investigate the impact of illegal immigration because it's such a big issue in Indiana. And he joined several other Republican state attorneys general for a border security briefing. And then he drove 6 hours north for the Trump rally Saturday in Conroe, Texas, during which the former president mentioned Rokita as, quote, another man who has done a fantastic job. And then on Tuesday, Rokita sent a campaign fundraising email highlighting Trump's praise at the rally. So, I mean, it's one of those things. All right, again, let's step back, give him the benefit of the doubt.
So the question is, how is that trip paid for? Is it paid for by the taxpayers, or should it be paid for by your political campaign committee, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess right, John, to kind of to give him the benefit of the doubt, I would say, look, if this was an invitation for attorneys general to go to the border and he took that up on him, even though to me personally, I don't think illegal immigration is a huge deal in Indiana. I mean, maybe he does. Apparently he does. So he decided to go to the border. So that to me could theoretically, even though probably to me a bad choice on an issue, that could be, official business.
What if Biden invited him? Would that be seen as official business?
I would think, yeah.
So former president invited him, no longer president.
Well, I don't know who invited him to the border. I don't know if that was like some sort of like border patrol invitation to attorneys general or not.
It was probably the Indiana the Attorney General Association.
And if that's true, then
Republican, they call it RAGA, I believe.
Okay, then
RAGA.
If that's true, maybe that's
Republican Attorney General Association. Right.
Somebody should start asking questions regardless.
There's a Democratic one also, DAGA. So.
Okay, there you go. And then but definitely the ride up to Conroe and like the whole Trump rally, that should not be on.
No.
That should be just,
Definitely.
it seems
Honestly,
like an easy answer.
It's like how I do this is I try not to bill to the taxpayers, like ever. If I have like the whole council and I take them out to lunch, that goes to the city. Okay. It's obvious that it's city business, right? If it's even close, if there's like even close, and I'm trying to decide, should the city cover this and the Hammond taxpayers, or should my political campaign committee cover this? I usually fail to the political campaign committee because that in itself is political. I charge a lot to my political campaign so that I don't charge it to the Hammond residents, which I think is good policy. It saves Hammond residents money.
Yeah, and then just to be clear, you don't take the whole council because that'd be a quorum.
No. Yeah. I don't take. When I take the council out to lunch, I'm usually with 3 or 4 of them at one time, and I pay for it with Amex. Like if it's charged to my city Amex, it is 100% city business. If it's 99%, I might go to the political campaign committee just to be safe. Because sometimes I sit down with people and talk politics and policy. And if I'm talking politics, I don't really feel right charging to the city of Hammond.
And in this case, I just think to just like not even, I mean, the guy's got a big campaign account. Not even to like worry. Why do you want the story?
I imagine it. I imagine he does have a big campaign account.
John, I mean...
Yeah, I was when you guys put that link in the script, I saw that it was picked up by AP, which is like, I mean, it's got to be national now at this point. So
it's a bad political decision by the Attorney General. Honestly,
why do you want the?
He covers this whole thing in his campaign account, which he should be. By the way, it was obviously sucking up to Donald Trump, which is
sent out a letter afterwards for campaign contributions.
Right. So you're sucking up to Donald Trump. That's a political move. You should have charged this to your campaign account, not to the Indiana taxpayers. And I don't think it's illegal. Because like he is on the border and immigration is an issue. I don't think it's illegal. It's just not politically smart, in my opinion, to stick it to the taxpayers when your campaign committee could have easily picked up this bill.
Yep.
Or do one or the other, right? Maybe don't go to the rally. Just do the trip to the Rio
Or
Grande.
just do the rally, do the Rio Grande. It's a political.
No way, man. He wanted to get the shout out.
Yeah, and plus I think it made him to the Republicans. I think it makes them look good. This is purely
to part of that part, to part of the party. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to the Trump, supporters
for sure.
I think that was clearly political,
and that's who he's courting, right? I mean, he's courting that definitely that base.
Because make no doubt about it, Todd Rokita is running for governor,
without a doubt.
He's running for governor right now as the Attorney General. He's not focused on his job. He's focused on what it takes for him to become Indiana's next governor, and that includes going to the border, which has nothing to do with Indiana.
And he's got
policy.
a platform. As the Attorney General. I mean, he's got a platform to kind of engage on these issues that he thinks are issues that are going to get people fired up, then vote for him for governor. And it's pretty clear that immigration's one of them because he keeps hounding on it. So, All right, wrap it up, Locomotive.
So we come in here today and we were like, I don't know if we're going to have enough to talk about.
No, not we.
We're going to cut
not
the show
we,
off early.
Not we.
Yeah.
The Locomotive was.
I was like, man,
he's
I don't
a little
know.
pessimistic in the morning.
Well, today I was. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening to LockPod, Season 5, Episode 10. We'll be back on Tuesday with more shenanigans. I'm not sure who our guest is. I know right now we're working with a gentleman that's general manager of Mission South Shore Dispensaries to be on the show, talk a little bit of cannabis legalization and cannabis issues with us. And we're working on a couple other great guests. So stay tuned. We will see you on Tuesday back on LockPod. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy.